Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Joy. Today is story time. You know how we do it. When it's story time, you know my own gist is premium. You know now, premium or nothing. Today I'm here to give you guys gist, like my first job in Australia in a bread factory. Guy, I see Shegu. Forget that you are seeing all these things. I suffer. Anyway, today I'm going to give you gist, and I'm going to start from the very beginning. All right, grab your popcorn, grab your ice cream, sit down and get ready to laugh with me, because you know how we do it. So you guys already know that I came into Australia in 2019, October to be precise. When I migrated, obviously you know how you do it. When you come into a country, you want to settle down, get a job, because I don't have one rich uncle or rich father somewhere that was sponsoring me. It was my husband that was sponsoring me, and we're an average family. We're not up there. You get what I mean? I knew that because my husband was sponsoring me, I needed to support him. I've never been the kind of woman that would depend on her husband. That has never been me. Okay, so I knew I needed to get things done. Okay, and because, like I said, if you watch my video before, you always hear me say that I didn't know anybody in Australia, so when I came in, thank God I met two guys. These guys are now like my G's. Like, shout out to Temi and Eddie. They're now like my GGs. Okay, so we're literally navigating school life. Then we all came at the same time, mind you. So when I think 1 month down the line, I've been job hunting, mind you. 1 month down the line, I've not gotten any job. I've been applying. I even had to like do my resume, everything. It was as if nobody was seeing me. And I knew that my husband had already paid my first school fees, which was over $15,000. The second one, I have to chip in something to support him, okay? Because I didn't want him to carry all that, considering that he was paying the school fees in naira, not in dollar. Do you know how much that was? So it was a lot. So I wanted to start doing something so that even if he was going to send me money, it won't be so much, just find a way around it. So I was job hunting, and then they said we cannot do more than 20 hours. So all the jobs I was looking for, they were saying, oh, you're on the student visa, we can't take you, blah blah blah, work restriction. So they did not even bother calling me. I think then I applied for over 100 jobs, and all the jobs I was applying for, I didn't even know, but I was just, and mind you, let me go back a bit. My husband had given me 1 million naira. My brother gave me another 1 million naira, which made it 2 million. And because I already had a business in Nigeria, which I brought to Australia, the first thing that came to my mind when I landed this country was to go and buy an industrial sewing machine. To be honest, I don't even know what gave me that morale to make such a decision. Like, I was just thinking to myself, how? Like, what were you thinking? My brothers and sisters, I went to go and buy a sewing machine. I think it cost me almost $1,000 then. Asked me how much I had that I was buying sewing machine. But I told myself, let me just buy it. Let me just have it so that I can use it, and while I'm looking for a job, if I get a customer as well, I can just, and that was a good decision. But at that time, someone that came in with less than $3,000 is buying a machine of $1,000 when you didn't even know where your next meal will come from. You didn't even have a roof over your head that was certain. Anyway, so I got the machine. Thankfully, I was staying with this amazing woman. Shout out to Auntie Oluchi. She was so nice to me. Like, she housed me. Of course, I was paying rent, but it was a fair price. Okay, so she allowed me to put my sewing machine in her garage. All right, so I had that one there, but I was still looking for a job because obviously I needed to make money. So we kept looking, and one day, a friend of mine told me about this agency that they do factory jobs. I was like, factory jobs? Which one is factory jobs? She's like, hey, that's, and she just, there are different places like that they do like production, in fact, any kind of production. I just have to work in the factory. I said, okay. So she sent me the link and I applied. And in less than 2 days, they called me to say, oh, we got your application. Can I come to their office to do an interview? So I remember taking public transport when I got there that day. I looked, I thought it was maybe very, this, because I didn't have the experience, okay? I've never done that kind of job before. So I was open-minded. So when we got there, we did interview. One of the parts of the interview was that you lift things. So apparently you're doing a lot of lifting. I say, eh?
Wool up, just wool up.
I say, what? The guy asked me, do you think you're physically capable of doing this job? Imagine me that is desperate. Me that I did not have hope of if I was going to get another job. I said, yeah, I'm good. And that time, if you see me, I was lenga like this. It's not even this fleshed human being I've seen. I was so tiny. He was like, okay, no problem with that. I have to lift some boxes. I think they were 5 kg, some was 10 kg. So I was, they wanted to see your physical ability to lift, how you were lifting, manual handling and all that. So after lifting, in my mind, I didn't knew. I said, Joy, you should say you feel do this thing. Anyway, after everything, it was like, oh yeah, that I passed the interview, that there is a company that's, they are an agency, there are different companies they work with, that at the moment there's a vacancy in a bread factory, if I'm happy to work there. I said, no problem. I did not even, at that point, I could not even go back because it was almost like there were a lot of people that came, but not everybody even passed. So I was already feeling privileged that, I passed this interview, praise the Lord. Mind you, I have never gone for an interview in my whole life. I've never worked, I've never done a job. It was just my business I knew, like my running my own thing. So it was such an experience to know that I did that interview, I passed. I was like, hey, praise the Lord, So I was holding on to that job with all of me. He now said, okay, so when is your start availability? I said, I'm available to start today. If you give me the job this night, I will go this night, And my other 2 friends, they were not so enthusiastic to start a job. I was like, maybe like now na papa na omolo. Me, I needed to find my way. So I was also giving them update, but they were not as gingered as I was, So I went about it. They now told me I was going to start the next day. So where the factory is, or where the company is, about 30 minutes from where I used to live at the time. Mind you, I did not have a car. I did not have a means of transportation. I had to go through the normal bus, And that place is it's a district area, like where they have a lot of companies. So the closest transportation system, or the closest bus stop to that place, after when you get there, it will take you 15 minutes walk to now go inside, like to now walk down. So when I checked my map, I saw that it was 30 minutes. That was with car, but with transport, which is train and bus, it was 2 hours 15 minutes. And it was so because, like I said, it was 15 minutes walk, and there was also train. And you know how the train does, and you know how buses here in Australia, like instead of the bus to go from one suburb to the other, they will keep going round and round to get to every bus stop before they get to yours. Does that make sense? So something that would take you 5 minutes to drive to, it will take them 30 minutes because they are stopping at every bus stop, picking and dropping people. At that point, I didn't have a choice. So I said, let's go. The good thing was that they were offering me 8-hour shift, which to me then was such a big deal. Guys, before I went for this job, I had already calculated the pay. So then they said we're going to pay me $25 per hour. Hey! I was so happy. I said $25. I calculated $25 times 8 hours and I converted to Naira. Hey! I said, do you know how much I'm making right now? I was so happy, guys. I was jumping over the roof. I never got the job, I never even start, but I know they calculate how much. So on that day, I prepared. It was a morning shift. I think the start time was 6 a.m. that day, and they had to do an orientation. Like the day of the start job was not supposed to. I was not supposed to start the job. I was supposed to go for an orientation. So I went for the orientation. They taught us, they taught us everything that we were supposed to expect. Everything like just write our names and all that. So the following day, and that orientation we were paid. Okay, the orientation they paid us. It's not free. We were paid for it, which I was so happy about because I didn't even know that they would pay you to train you. It was so new to me. I didn't know that Australia would give you money because they want to train you. Hi! I say on top of the training where at the gather knowledge, you see they pay me on top. I was so happy. So that was how I now went the next day. I had to, it was the shift was 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I had to wake up very early, guys. I woke up at about 3 a.m. that day. And I realized that I had to take Uber because transportation here starts at 6. Okay, so when I woke up, I was just running around my room. I was trying to prepare myself. I even prayed. I called my husband. I said, BBC, this is my first day at work, pray for me. We even prayed together. I was so I was so excited and I was looking forward to the experience. Okay, so I waited. It was about to 5-ish, and I called an Uber. The Uber took me there. Guys, I got there 30 minutes before time. That's what the thing they do me. I got there 30 minutes before time. So when I got there, the guy said, oh, I had to see that people that were doing the night shift. So apparently that factory runs 24 hours, right? They produce bread. The factory produces bread for most companies, like all these big grocery stores you see. I don't want to call any names, but every grocery store you see, they produce bread. So different bread companies come there for them to produce, and they label it with their own brand labels, if that makes sense. So we produce for different brands, and once you finish producing, just put their labels on it, their packaging on it. Okay, so after everything, while I was waiting, the guy now gave me PPE, the gear. And mind you, at this time, it was summer in Australia, so the weather was quite humid. It was quite cool. But do you know that the moment I stepped into that factory, I almost died? Guys, it was minus, I don't even want to exaggerate, but it was like -7 degrees. It was so cold. Guys, it was freezing cold. Mind you, they had given me my PPE, they were giving me my head net because I had to pack my hair, cover my hair. They gave me, nobody told me that I needed to guard up. I was wearing normal trousers and normal shirts. Hey, the moment I ran in, I ran out. The guy asked, what is the problem? I said, no, the place is too cold. I don't think I can work here. He said, what do you mean? Didn't they tell you that it's a bread factory? I said, yeah, but they did not tell me that it's a cold room. He said, what were you thinking? That a bread factory where they store bread, it has to be cold for... I said, they did not inform me. Mind you, before this time, at the interview, they asked me if I had work boots. I told them yes. I didn't know it was a requirement. So, because I didn't know anybody, and I had to go and look for work boots. These boots are used for factories, not normal sneakers or normal boots. I did not know that I could go to Facebook Market and buy boots, $20-30. Guys, I had to go to normal store. I don't even remember where I went to that time. I bought boots of $200. Help me. If they carry me, they go, we are not know. Guys, $200 for shoes. Do you know, months later, when I realized I could get that thing for $30, that boots I'm talking to is still in my house till now. I'm not giving anybody. That boot is still under my stairs till now. I'm not giving it. Guys, I do not, I wanted to cry. Anyway, stay with me. Let me go back to my story. The guy now said I should take jacket. There were some jackets that were hanging. If I was happy to wear, I said yes. My brothers and sisters, I wore 3 of that jackets, covered my leg. I wore socks, everything, like five socks, and I finally went in. So what they do in the bread factory, you be seeing bread, like where they produce bread. Okay, you see people that mix it, people that package it, people that like that. Like they had different sections, different departments in that bread producing factory. Like I said, they had different sections, but the section they now put me in was the one of packaging, where as you're bringing it out of the oven, you're selecting it in different trays. You have to select it in different trays, and you have to be very fast. Guys, everybody there were working like robots. And being a first-time person, I was like, are these people high or something? Like, I don't know. And I had to follow the pace, obviously. That's what we're doing. And guys, for every time this job is not you're not sitting down. For the 8 hours you're standing. For the 8 hours you are on the go. And as you're putting those bread, anyone that is spoiled or shaped or deformed or diff, you toss it away. Okay? That's what we're doing. During this time, in the 8-hour shift, you're allowed only 30 minutes break and 10 minutes smoke time. Like for people that smoke, if you don't want to smoke, you can go take coffee. So in total, you're allowed only 40 minutes out of 8 hours. The 30 minutes break you're going for, before you leave, you tell your team leader that's okay, oh, you're leaving, and when you come back, you let them know that they'll be checking your time for you. And then I did it for the first day. After that day, I went back home. Trust my husband, as I was coming back, he was calling me. How was the job? How was the job? How was it? I told him, I said, this is so far. It's so far that I've been praying against all my life. Now it be this. Guys, as I was coming out of that place, everybody was looking at me. I was looking like a robot. I was shedding tears. I didn't even know I was crying. You know how you're so cold to the point that you can't feel your nails, you can't feel your feet, you can't feel your body. Like I felt numb. I felt numb, guys. The place was so cold. At some point, they told me to use fork, because then they'll teach how to use forklift. I don't know if it's forklift they call it, something I used to be able to push the breads. One of the times, even my team leader asked me to go into the cold room, the actual cold room. So the whole place is cold, but it's an actual place that like minus. In fact, I don't even know. That's like the coldest place on the. I don't even know, guys. He asked me to go there and assist them to bring out bread.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
By the time I was done with that shift that day, by the time I was done, I was shedding tears. Like I was literally crying. Like my hands were numb. I was going out of the place. I was shedding tears. I didn't know people were looking at me. I was numb. You know how you can get. You know how you get so cold that your hands are numb, your feet. I couldn't feel myself. I couldn't feel my face. And then I came out. I took off my clothes. I went home. Even the home self that I was going to have to take public transport, because obviously I would like get home. I took bus, I took train, and then that was plus the 15 minutes walk back to where you take your bus. So when I got there, and I went home. Trust my husband, as I reach house, because I told him the time of the shift, so it was timing me. And mind you, it was like midnight in Nigeria, so Oga did not even sleep because it was my first day of work. Maybe I go home, he called me, he was like, how far was the shift? I just started crying. I burst into tears. I was like, is this why we are here? Like, why did we leave Nigeria? Guys, it was that day I questioned my purpose of coming to Australia. I said, I for just day Nigeria, I for just day they sold my clothes, they manage my money. Like, my husband was now begging me, I'm sorry, I know this is not the life you planned. I know this is not the life I promised you. Everything will get better. Guys, I thought things were going to get better. I actually thought things were going to get better in that factory, but for every day I went, it was as if the cold just tripled. At some point I was feeling cold in as if my liver, my kidney, everything was cold, guys. I'm not even joking. I'm laughing about now because it's a thing of the past, but at that time, guys, and mind you, sometimes I would go for shifts, come back the next day and go to school. It was nothing like I've ever experienced in my life, guys. For every day I went to that job, I would come home, take off my clothes, stand on the shower and put on the heat. You know, when it's not like you're mixing the water, shower when it's either hot or cold or in between, so that it will be warm. I'll put it at extreme hot. Then I used to make my hair, not now that I've barbed my hair, I will stand on the shower and water will pour from my head down for 30 minutes. It was as if I was trying to uncold what was cold in my body. Does that make sense? Like, I was feeling like, when you're trying to defrost food, I was trying to defrost my body, like something like that. It was crazy. Factory job is not something I wish on anybody, to be honest. It's not something I wish on anybody. I thank God because I did that job for a little over 2 months, and then I moved to a different type of job, which was easier and more convenient, thanks be to God. The only benefit, let me now put it here, the only benefit or the only advantage of working in that factory job or that bread producing factory is that they will give you free bread. Then I used to share bread now. They share bread. If you come and just say hi, I had bread, because all the ones that were sports, not sports per se, but all the ones that didn't come out in the shape, you know how all of them are supposed to be like in the same shape, maybe one kind, they'll just toss it out. That's their policy. So those breads, we will now pack it, and there's no limit to what you can pack. You can pack everything as long as you can carry it. I will now pack bread. Hi, I will now go to school. I'll be sharing to my classmates. I will share bread. That was the only benefit. Seriously, that was the only thing I would say I benefited, because bread was free. And by the time I went to the store and checked how much those bread were worth, I was like, wow, I could actually be selling this bread. I could actually be selling it. But yeah, I did sell it because I didn't know, I wasn't informed, but I was sharing the bread. I was sharing it. That was the only thing I would say I benefited. Say bread, no lack for my house. That was the only thing. But apart from that, it was brutal. And I don't wish it on anybody. Guys, I don't wish it on anybody. One thing that is inevitable is that when you come abroad, especially when you don't have soft landing like myself, you're likely to do the worst things just to survive. Okay, except your father is $40 or you're very, very comfortable, and then you can just live off what your parents can afford. But for people like us that we came with the hope that we're going to work to sustain our stay, you are likely to do shitty things. You're likely, and by shitty I don't mean like illegal things, I'm just saying you're likely to do like the least menial jobs just to survive and to get your feet. And obviously by the special grace of God, things will get better. It can only get better. Do you get? It can only get better from there. But yeah, a lot of people have to go through this. And I remember that time one guy like that, he took pride in the fact that he had worked in that factory for 15 years. Hey God, I say, wait, you've worked here for 15 years and you are bugaing in the Lord. You are prouding yourself that you are working in one factory for 50 years. You don't have future. You don't have destiny. Your destiny is not it's not in order, or what? And a lot of them were like that. Like a lot of them had worked there 15-20 years. I'm like, bruh, in this cold room, in this death sentence of a place. Guys, it was brutal. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed my story. Let me know what you experienced. Have you experienced something like this before? Did you? Tell me, am I the only one on this ship, or am I the only one that came to Australia to suffer, or did you guys experience any of this? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Thank you for watching my video. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and be a part of our community. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye.